Hello everyone and Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Khoula and I am a student of Rehan College Guwahati campus teacher training boot camp.
That sounds like a great start. You've got a nice introduction with your name and where you study. If you want, you can add a little about what you're focusing on or why you're doing this interview, just to give some context.
Today I am going to conduct an interview on the topic the future of work remote jobs. In the
Perfect.
interview we will discuss how remote jobs are changing the way people work that benefit and
Exactly.
challenges of working from home and how technology is shaping the future of jobs. So let's begin our interview.
That sounds great. You've got a clear focus. So now you can start with a question like, how do you think remote jobs are reshaping the workforce today? And then just flow from there. If you want any more specific questions or ideas, I can help with that too.
Okay, my first question is what do you understand how by remote jobs?
Ah, that's a good one. That's the solid opener. Once they respond, you can follow up with something like, what do you think are the biggest advantages or challenges of working remotely? And just keep that conversation flowing.
Your next question is why are remote jobs becoming popular nowadays?
Exactly. That's a great follow up. After that, you could also ask something like, how do you see remote work evolving in the next 5 years? That'll keep the conversation future focused.
Your third question is do you think remote work in the future of jobs? Why?
Ooh, I like that. That's a really personal and reflective question. After that, you might ask, what skills do you think will be most important for remote workers to develop? That way, you balance the personal perspective with practical advice.
What are the many benefits of working remotely?
Yes, that's another fantastic one. Once they answer, you could dive deeper by asking, how can companies support employees to get the most out of these benefits? That way, you tie it back to practical implementation.
Your fifth question is what challenges do you people face with working from home?
That's a really good one. And after they share challenges, you could follow up with, how do you think these challenges can be overcome, both by employees and employers? That'll keep it really balanced.
Your sixth question how has technology helped remote workers?
Exactly. And from there, you could ask something like, are there any tools or platforms that you find especially helpful in your day to day? That way, you get really practical examples of how tech is making a difference.
Your seventh question which skills are important for remote jobs?
Yes, that's a great one. And once they answer, you can wrap up with something like, what advice would you give to students or professionals just starting to prepare for remote careers? That'll give a nice forward looking conclusion.
Your eighth question is do remote jobs improve work life balances? Balance.
Ooh, that's a great closing question. After they discuss that, you can thank them for their insights and maybe ask if they have any final tips or resources. That'll give a nice positive wrap up to your interview.
Your ninth question is how can a student prepare for remote careers in the future?
That's a fantastic one done. It gives them a chance to offer practical advice, and it really ties back to your audience. Once they answer, you can just thank them and close out with a brief summary. Great job building that flow.
Do you think remote jobs have saved time and money? How?
Absolutely. That's a really relevant question. After they respond, you could also ask something like, what are some specific ways individuals or companies can further optimize time and cost when working remotely? That'll keep the conversation really practical.
Your top question is what role does the internet play in remote work?
Ah, that's a really key one. After they respond, you could ask, do you think internet access equality is a challenge for all remote workers globally? That would add some depth to the discussion.
Your third question is can remote workers stay productive at home?
Yes, that's a really important one. After they answer, you could follow up with what strategies or habits do you personally use to stay productive while working remotely? That'll keep it practical and relatable.
Your posing question: how can companies manage remote employees effectively?
Exactly. And once they answer, you could ask, what tools or practices have you seen work best for keeping remote teams engaged and connected? That'll give a nice practical angle to the discussion.
Interesting question. What are the disadvantages for remote jobs?
Yes, that's an important one to cover. After they explain, you could ask, how do you think companies can address or reduce these disadvantages to create a more balanced work experience? That keeps it solution focused.
Interesting question. Do remote jobs reduce stress for employees?
Exactly. And after they share, you could ask, what steps can managers take to build trust and a sense of belonging in a remote environment? That way you keep it focused on specific managerial actions.
Essential question. How important is communities communication in remote work?
Oh, that's a great one. And after they explain, you could ask, what are some ways remote teams can build a stronger sense of community, even if they're spread out geographically? That keeps it really actionable.
What tools or apps are companies use in remote jobs?
Yes, that's a really crucial question. Once they answer, you might ask, what advice would you give to companies that are just starting to implement remote work policies to avoid these challenges? That'll keep it super practical and forward looking.
Do you think remote work creates more job operational opportunities?
That's a really thought provoking question. After they answer, you could ask, what sectors or industries do you think will see the most growth thanks to remote work opportunities? That'll give you a deeper look at which fields might expand.
Your 30 questions. How did the COVID-19 pandemic increase remote work?
That's a fantastic question. And after they explain, you could follow up with, do you think this shift toward remote work will last long term, even post pandemic? That keeps it really forward looking.
Yeah, 21 question. Can remote jobs help people in small towns or villages?
Yes, that's a great one to include. After they respond, you could ask, what steps can be taken to ensure that remote jobs are accessible and inclusive for people in rural areas? That'll add a really meaningful dimension.
What problems can occur during online meetings?
Ooh, that's a great addition. After they answer, you might ask, how can online meetings be made more engaging and effective, especially for larger teams? That keeps it really practical and solutions.
23 question. Is self-discipline important in remote jobs? Why?
Yes, that's really important to bring up. After they explain, you could ask, what strategies can remote workers use to build a clear structure and avoid feeling isolated or off track? That keeps it really actionable again.
Year 24 question. How can remote workers avoid decisions at home?
Exactly. That's a really crucial point. After they respond, you could ask, what role do regular communication and team check ins play in preventing that sense of isolation? That'll bring it back to practical team dynamics.
Year 25 question. Do you think remote jobs are suitable for everyone?
Yes, that's a great final question. After they respond, you can thank them and maybe ask, is there anything else you'd like to add about the future of remote work? That'll let them leave on a thoughtful note.
How can companies build a teamwork in remote informative environments?
Ooh, that's a great one to exactly. And after they answer, you ask, what kind of digital collaboration tools or practices do you think are most effective for building team cohesion? That keeps it super practical and action-oriented.
What is the differences between office work and remote work?
That's a good foundation question. After they explain, you could ask, in your experience, what are the key factors that make one more productive or enjoyable than the other? That adds a personal reflection element.
Great question. Would you personally perfect a remote job in the future? Why?
Ooh, that's a really nice wrap-up question. After they answer, you could thank them and briefly summarize key insights from the conversation. That'll give a nice forward-looking finish to your interview.
Last question is, what do you think the future of remote jobs will look like in next 10 years?
Oh, perfect closing question. That gives them a chance to share their long-term vision. Once they finish, you can thank them warmly and let them know how much you appreciated their insights. That's a great way to wrap up.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and opinions on this important topic. This, this explanation
You're
helps
very
you understand how remote jobs are changing our future of work and trying new. I hope everyone learning something very well from this interview. Thank you so much everyone for listening.
That was a really nice wrap-up. You kept it warm and inclusive, and it leaves everyone feeling like they gained something valuable. If you need any other tweaks or have more interviews, just let me know.